After the end of the world, my sister was afraid of becoming an experiment and forced my parents to send me away. Later, I successfully activate the power and become the head of the base, and she can only become a street woman in the civilian cave. She hated me and she killed me when she couldn't wait to go with the institute. I smiled. It's full of brutal experimental lunatics. She doesn't really think it's a good place, is she? After the end came, most of the world's humans were infected by zombies, and the only remaining human being lives in a dark, damp place. My sister and I are twins, and I have been a victim since my childhood. Whenever to collect food, she has to take the first to eat. Only she ate after the residue can turn to give my stomach. Facing the siege of the zombies, she would also kick me out to attract the attention of the zombies, thus giving her the time to escape. In her eyes, my own sister is just a cannon fodder to abandon at any time. Even my parents believe that I am a sister, and that I should make some sacrifice for my sister to help her. The base requires each family to have a child involved in human experiments. Gao Snow is afraid to become a white mouse. She is not willing to. So my parents forced me to replace my sister, was taken away by the base. But I am also your own daughter. Why is it so good to me? And so on. I was taken to the lab, and she stayed with her parents. Later, her parents died and her sister became an orphan. In order to survive, she could only stand as a street woman in the slum, selling her body to men for food. After the human body experiment, I activated the special powers and became the boss of the base. Skinny, she begged me to save my life. I read Sister Old Love, not hesitate to offend other leaders of the base, will save her from the slum. But Gao, she is a complete white-eyed wolf, not only not grateful to me, but in my weakest time, personally stabbed me to death. She ruthlessly turned the hand of the dagger. Is you robbed my life. The awakening power should be me. The boss of the base should be me too. Why do you enjoy all this? For a white-eyed wolf took his own life. I hate their own stupidity. When I watched Gao Snow give up to stay with her parents and offered to go with the people in the institute, I looked at her, just looking at a dead person. Didn't you think about my life? Then you go. I won't give you any chance to regret it. Looking at the suddenly changed her little daughter. My parents were stunned. They can still clearly remember the night before. The little daughter is still making a scene and not willing to go to the institute. Now how suddenly change her mind to replace her sister? Always eccentric mother is reluctant to give up her to be an experiment. When they hesitated, I took the initiative to stand up. Sister, you don't have to worry about me. I am a sister, should be in test. Who is worried about you? You fool. Gao Snow is afraid that this opportunity will be robbed by me. Quickly pushed me away. Can't wait to the institute, said. Uncle, you take me away. I'm smarter and more talented than my heart, and I'm sure I can succeed in awakening my powers. The people at the institute were satisfied with Gao's response, looking at her bouncing away from the back. I smiled. My dear sister, you smile. You can laugh not many days, because that place is a hell on earth, like the previous life. Gao Snow entered the institute after a period of clothes to hand. Food day. No more need to worry about food. In addition to drawing blood and injections on time every day, Gao Snow did not appear any physical discomfort, but also fat a circle. She was very satisfied with her life, and she allowed them to go home to visit relatives. However, she came back empty-handed, which made her parents feel a little disappointed. She came back just to show off. In previous lives, I brought supplies home. Every mouthful of food was saved by me. Gao Yi Snow, of course, to enjoy, but also a variety of dislike of the pig, said not her taste, and my parents also stood on her side, said that my sister is when the long body, want me next back, bring her more nutritious meat, eggs and milk. I felt my hungry stomach, very uncomfortable. When they say this, did they forget that she and I are twins? She needs to grow. Don't I need to? The three of us still live in a tent in the civilian cave, because the end of the world water resource is precious. We have not taken a bath for more than a month. The body is gray. It is a sharp contrast to her bright amorous when she saw me. Her eyes were very proud. She had to compare everything to me and everything. In the end of the world, my twin sister is her competitor in Gao Snow's eyes. She dreamed of killing me. And as long as I died, no one would compete with her for food. After showing off, Gao Yi Zhu abandoned the careless mouth, follow the institute of people in a hurry to leave, for fear of being contaminated by us. Her expression and behavior deeply hurt Mom and Dad's heart. They can't believe that the little daughter raised since childhood, How is so heartless to them. I sneer in the side, 'cause the root cause of this character is not because of your spoil. Growing up, she was an extremely selfish, self-centered person. She didn't like the same thing as I did, so she secretly threw it away or broke it. Want her parents to pay more attention to her. She deliberately took a cold bath to make herself sick. Also often in front of my classmates secretly say ill of me, let others alienate me. I once wronged to my parents, accused Hai Yi Snow's behavior, want affair. But my parents are how to do it. As always partial to Gao Snow, her bad behavior into a prank, but accused me too petty. After the beginning of the end of the day, once the food, she would only secretly hide and eat, regardless of others. She does not love anyone, only love herself. To survive, ordinary people must take part in the base's search mission for supplies. In previous lives, parents, in order to make my sister live better, no matter how dangerous the task, later, they encountered a huge wave of zombies during a search mission, and were finally bitten to death. In the past life, I always thought it was an accident, until after death. I did not know that the task of high memory Snow also went. When the corpse tied siege, she, in order to survive, her parents personally pushed out as a shield, to win a chance to escape. It is also an irony that they died at the hands of their most eccentric daughter. In order to survive in this cruel apocalypse, I must quickly activate my powers. The laboratory carries out inhuman experiments every day. Use all kinds of cruel means to stimulate the potential of the human body. The failure of the experiment experience is taken by the base to make feed, squeeze dry the final value. At that time, I was tortured to commit suicide, then swallowed the zombie crystal core soaked in brine for a long time, which unexpectedly activated two kinds of powers. Power can bring me strength but also bring side effects. I will fall into a long period of weakness. Gao Snow also know this weakness to kill me. Gao Yikshu has always thought that my power activation is the credit of the laboratory. So, this life will resolutely into the embrace of the research institute. Unfortunately, she was destined to draw nothing in this life. I have a healthy body, but also master the method of power activation. Occupy the first opportunity can only be me. Through the traps made, I successfully killed 3 zombies, collected the nuclei in their brains, swallowed them, and once again activated the past powers, fire control and cure. Feel the form of the powerful energy swimming in the body. It's such a very good feeling. After the end of the world, my sister was afraid of becoming an experiment and forced my parents to send me away. Later, I successfully activate the power and become the head of the base, and she can only become a street woman in the civilian cave. She hated me and she killed me when she couldn't wait to go with the institute. I smiled. It's full of brutal experimental lunatics. She doesn't really think it's a good place, is she? With the experience of previous lives, my grasp of the power is very smooth, and the improvement speed is very fast. I spent most of my time collecting the zombie core. Just a little supplies home. Groishered and the parents of the scold, just a little material. Who can eat enough? What a rice bucket, no use. Dad punished me for not eating at night. They are always like this. My sister is the apple of their eye, containing in her mouth afraid of melting. And I am just a diligent working horse. I always do not understand. The same twins, why the treatment difference will be so big, when I completely control the powers of that day, is the day I leave this no warm place. Soon, It was time for my parents to suffer in previous lives. In order to get more supplies, they took on the search mission anyway. Before leaving, Gao Snow appeared in front of us. This is the second time allowed by the Institute to go home to visit relatives. Home again empty-handed. Her parents, to her attitude, also began to be indifferent. Dad's attitude successfully angered Hai Yi Snow. She sneered, "Anyway, you cannot lead a few days to die. What's proud of?" Which close daughter every day cursed their parents to die early. Mom directly slapped her and told her not to come back. Gao Snow cover face hate staring at mom and dad. Rest assured, I come next time maybe to give you the body. In addition to this, I will not come again. Looking at her stupid and ignorant appearance, I sneer in my heart. She didn't really think that the Institute took them in just to serve food and drink, did she? My good sister. Leaving you to come out of the opportunity of the wind is not much. Cherish it. I hope you can get through this terrible experiment. As in a previous life, the search team accidentally triggered a wave of zombies while searching for a canning building, and was soon surrounded by layers of zombies. The transport bus is packed with zombies. They look ferocious. The weight of the rush will quickly crush the truck. More than 100 ordinary people were soon bitten to death by zombies, transformed into a new batch of zombies, and I have already relied on the power and past experience, smoothly out of the siege, successfully hid in the nearby underground bomb shelter. The whole process of using my power, which went unnoticed, great, no exposure. I can't let anyone know that I have my powers until I am thoroughly skilled. This air raid shelter was a hidden place I found during a previous mission. It used to be the arsenal depot of military reserves. After the military evacuated, a large number of military materials were left behind, which was very safe, and my parents and a small number of survivors followed me and hid in with these supplies. The survivors managed to escape the zombie tide. After the tide of corpses receded, we returned to the base with supplies. We brought back this batch of guns of great value. The base rewarded me for the credit. We moved from the civilian cave into a 2-bedroom, 1 living room base house. The ordinary family of 3 survived the zombie tide and managed to bring back a large number of supplies. With this news, we instantly became celebrities at the base. Gao Yizhu also soon know the news. She can't wait to come to see our situation. Seeing our family living so well, she froze in place. This is impossible. They obviously died in the zombie tide. What is this? Is Gao Heart also reborn? I know that the changes in this life will certainly cause Hai Yi Snow doubt. Deliberately came forward to look at her. Really envy you. Recall Snow. Do not have to work hard to live so good. This time I and my parents almost cannot come back. If had gone to the Institute as me. Gao Yikshu immediately dismissed the question. Back a few steps. A face of disgust away. She thought that the escape we could make was probably after the shit, and after the food was finished. We had to go back to the civilian cave. Her heart instant balance a lot. Proud of the head left, looking at her leaving the back. I calculated the time. Hai Yi Snow, your nightmare to begin. Sure enough, shortly after returning to the Institute, Gao Snow was restricted from travel. The scientists at the Institute shut up all the experimenters and began various abnormal experiments: transplant the heart and skin of mutant animals, inject drugs of various colors that promote bone growth, extract the energy of zombie crystals and inject it directly into the body. The pain of these experiments is huge, and many children's bodies suddenly burst and die. A third of the children who entered the Institute with Gao Zhu soon died. The lab was filled with the children's screams and cries. Gao Snow luck is good. Received the experimental torture can only be moderate. But when she watched the child around her because of the implanted zombie crystal core energy, the body directly exploded into blood foam. She also involuntarily began to be afraid. For several nights, she had nightmares about herself lying on the lab bed, and I was already able to master the fire control skills without telling my parents. Began to go out alone to search for supplies. Strengthen the power. In this home, There is nothing to let me miss anything. When I brought back a whole truck of supplies alone, the base exception let me move into the villa area in the base. This is a place where only the top brass and the credits of the base can stay. When the base sent the car to pick me up, my parents were happily about to drill the car, but was stopped by the driver. The person who contributes to the base is my daughter. We are a family. Why should we not follow us to the villa? The driver's answer is very cold. Only for the base made a great credit of the talent is qualified to live in the villa area. Ordinary people are not qualified. No matter how noisy the parents were, the driver refused to allow them to go together. I can only pretend to be innocent. Tell my parents, after I live in, I will think of a way to take you over. Then in their helpless eyes, boarded the car, and walked away, without me. If they cannot search for supplies in the next mission, they will lose the qualification to live in the luxurious flat floor and live back to the civilian cave. Anyway, I am nothing in your heart, just an optional tool. What do you have to do with me? This life, I only live for myself. The Institute's experiment finally came to an end. But Gao Snow's body can also appear very serious sequely. Her hair and teeth began to fall. She coughed up blood, and her skin grew strange blue scales, and began to hate the land, like to soak in the water all day. She became a monster without a ghost. When the people of the Institute took her out, she saw only her hungry parents in the civilian cave, and did not see me. Gao Yikshu thought I died outside. Who knows, the people took her to the base famous villa area. Looking at the bright me, Gao Snow collapsed. Why is she so miserable in the research institute? But I live so well, isn't she the one who takes the lead? Whereby, what really happened?